Sorry. It's not in there. And you can derp your way all the way back to where you got that initial key, and this will be open now. You can run in here, fight some Cacodemons, get a plasma gun. And also get killed by Pinkies if you're me. Oh, wow. This plasma gun has a new skin. Holy crap. That's kind of cool. I haven't played Brutal Doom in a long time, so I haven't seen any different skins of weapons. But this is definitely pretty neat. I wonder if he had an issue with the, oh wow, you can manually reload that? I wonder if he had an issue, maybe he borrowed the old skin from a different WOD and someone, like, took issue with it. Either that, or he just didn't care for the way it looked, so he redeveloped it. I wonder if there's custom skins for, like, the grenade launcher or railgun or anything like that. That'd be kind of neat. Alright, and this is where I always end up using the plasma gun. Why won't you go down? Oh, right. I hope there's no overcharge to this, because if there is, I'm going to blow myself to pieces. Okay, good. Well, that was anticlimactic. And yes, I'm definitely using the skull tag improvements, such as jumping, for this. I'm not going to use any map breaking, really, aside from what I did on the first level, because that seems kind of cheap to me, but I'm definitely using it to get over Pinky Demons and stuff, because otherwise I will die completely, freaking constantly, because Brutal Doom is absolutely brutal with Pinkies and Spectres. It actually makes them dangerous, which is impressive, because they were pretty much the least intimidating enemy in the original. Unless they got you into a corner in the original, they were absolutely no threat, but they just do so much damage in this that it's insane. Jesus. It's been such a long time since I've actually sat down and played through Doom. I can barely remember these levels. And that's going to sound crazy to a couple people I know, because they know I love Doom to death. But usually I end up playing Doom mods more than anything. I don't play all the way through the vanilla Doom campaign. That was a pretty cool little death animation. Well, that's a weird little clipping issue. Hopefully it's only Cacodemon bodies that do that. Boop. What just teleported? Okay. that happens. Wow, freaking lunge. So yeah, Brutal Doom. It's pretty cool, right? Wow, how'd I perfect that? Oh, never mind. Because I get 3 times the par. I suppose another thing worth mentioning is my little Wii video. A lot of people think it was meant to be a troll video, but it actually wasn't. It was supposed to be a really sarcastic video. Like, blatantly sarcastic, to a point where every single person who watched it knew it was sarcastic. And then I realized that this is the internet, and the majority of people who will be watching it are going to be, like, younger people who don't, like, understand, necessarily, the nuances of sarcasm. And that might sound a little strange, but I find that you start to learn the intonations of how people speak better as you get older. Which is why a lot of, I suppose, more mature people don't speak with a lot of different inflections to their voice, because you're just supposed to know. Which is kind of stupid. But, you know, it happens. That, or you're just an emotionless bastard and always speak in a monotone voice, in which case, I pity you, I guess? When I'm not commentating and stuff like that, if I'm actually just talking with friends, I tend to do a lot of really weird voices. I tone it down a little bit for videos because I don't want to be regarded as a total freak, and also it's a little more natural when there's more than one person involved. Otherwise I just kind of feel like I'm being a schizophrenic bastard talking to myself in strange voices and inventing personas to communicate with, which is basically one step away from multiple personality disorder. But, yeah. I do weird stuff sometimes. I'm going to save that for later. And that would be why. Ammo is very hard to come by in this episode. That was lovely. But anyway, getting back to the topic of the Wii U video itself, I've gotten this ridiculous number of comments taking it seriously and flaming me out and telling me how stupid I am and how forced it sounds and how much of a retard I am for not appreciating the genius of Nintendo for basically shifting around the standard controller layout a little bit. But, yeah, I guess that's natural, because that's a pretty cool new one. He used to just rip his head off and it looked horrible. But, yeah. Everyone on the internet seems to take offense to everything, and I am just so far beyond the point of caring about that at this point. If you're going to flame me because I made a video about how Microsoft is not as original as everyone makes them out to be, then you can go ahead and flame away, because nothing's going to change your opinion on it anyway. And really, more than anything, I can't stand it in people. I can't stand that aspect about people in general. Just how biased everyone is recently. That I've just, it irritates me so bad. Where has the logic gone? And I think the worst example of this, go look up any videos by IGN and just kind of leaf through the comments section, and you'll either start laughing or crying or doing some strange and mutated combination of both all at the same time, because IGN videos are so horrible. Like, IGN themselves, they can produce decent content from time to time. Their reviews I don't necessarily agree with, because sometimes they seem to be rather paid off. Other times they have very honest and down-to-earth reviews, and I can respect that. But the actual gameplay trailers and community discussion videos and stuff like that they throw out are very nice. But for whatever reason, people don't understand the concept of the fact that people have different opinions from them. And I've just narrowed it down to a point where I think almost everyone who comments on it is either a horribly, horribly bigoted person or 12th. And I'm guessing the latter is probably more likely, because it's especially noticeable on things like COD videos. I personally don't care so much for Call of Duty. I will play it with people like Jesse or Jimmy because they're my friends and they help make this experience more enjoyable. But I really don't care for the game itself. And when it gets to a point where I can look at someone and say, you know, I really don't care for Call of Duty and I think it's getting kind of stale, you can continue, or no map breaking, bad Baja. But if I can look someone in the face and tell them that I don't care for a series, and I think the series is kind of stale, but if they are continuing to enjoy it, then they can absolutely, for sure, feel free to continue buying it. And they get angry at me and start telling me about how wrong I am, and that my opinion is completely false, and their opinion is fact, and that I should basically just go drown myself under the nearest bridge. Something is extremely wrong with humanity. And I realize I should have lost faith in it when I first discovered the internet, but I always surprise myself by having just that little bit extra that gets stripped away every time I speak with someone who is like that. And it's just really amazing how stupid people can be. I guess that's kind of why I'm glad that I'm not a widely recognized channel at this point, is because I know that if I ever get to a point where I have like vast numbers of subscribers and large amounts of people watching my videos, one, I'm going to get so many comments that I'm not going to be able to interact with the community anymore, which is going to be very frustrating for me. And two, I can guarantee you almost half of them are going to be assholes, and I can't stand that. Part of the reason I made YouTube was to entertain people more like myself, who are a little bit more down to earth and who enjoy games and who enjoy things that aren't necessarily part of the norm. But because YouTube has become such a mainstream sort of thing, which is awesome, by the way, because it's good for Google as a company, but since it's become such a mainstream sort of thing, a lot of the more asshats are making their way into it. And again, I'm not insinuating that people who play Call of Duty are asshats. If that's what you're pulling out of this, you need to, like, pull the crap out of your ears. Just, there are people who should not be associating with other people, other human beings. And I find that they tend to be more prominent than any other group of people on the internet. And that's why I hate social media. That's why I have no Facebook. That's why I have no Twitter. It's not some sort of crazy depravity of feeling that if I do that I'll lose my soul. Though that's part of it, I don't like giving out my information. There are so many stupid, horrible people on the internet. And I can't understand why you would ever feel the need to impose all of your values and belief over someone else. It's just this horrible, horrible thing. It's like, it's the same thing with religion. I actually read a comment the other day. I personally am not a strongly religious person, and I don't mind if you are. You can absolutely feel free. But there was a person who actually came out and said that they believed that their rights were being violated when a police officer told them not to walk up to someone in the street and violently assault them with a Bible and tell them that their religion is wrong, because they feel they should have the right to convert anyone and everyone to their own religion. What? If we have to respect your rights, you have to respect ours. That's kind of how it goes. Well, that's how it's supposed to go. The government is disagreeing with, oh, no, 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 no. Not falling into that trap. But, the government seems to be disagreeing with me a little bit recently, what with all the bills passed for, oh, you have rights, well, you don't have them anymore. We can just kind of take you without cause, and you don't get a trial. That's a little irritating. But, I mean, just, I can't stand people recently. The way people act, it is atrocious and awful, and makes me sad. And I guess it's always been that way, but it's becoming more and more prominent as the internet is becoming more and more of a widely used thing. I call them the douchebag crowd. Imps, imps, imps. So yeah, Wii U video. Got a lot of flames. Stupid. Because I am blatantly sarcastic in that video. I actually even opened the video with my normal voice, like this, before going in the Xbox 360 kind of voice. And like the whiny sort of typical fanboy voice that I use. Just to prove to people, hey, this is my normal voice, not the whiny one. The whiny one is going to be the sarcasm. But no, people still don't understand. And I can understand if you miss the sarcasm, because sarcasm can be a difficult thing to pick up from time to time. But when you go on to just leave comment after comment about how terrible of a person I am, because I am apparently a Microsoft fanboy, dude, no, you have better things to do with your time. I don't care who you are. Staring at a wall is a better use of your time. Stop. Really. And to be honest, I don't care if someone's a fanboy. Like I just said that I can't stand like strongly opinionated people. But if you consider yourself to be a fanboy of something, that's totally fine so long as you don't take it out on other people. Like if you are a larger fan of Microsoft than Sony, by all means, I'm gonna rip out his eye, aren't I? Yep, okay. But yeah, if you're more of a by the way, I'm noticing yes, okay, that is actually what's happening. Every time I'm going into those little cutscene deals, I'm actually changing parts of their sprites to mirror my body. I'm assuming they were meant to be green, like the Cacodemons eye, like the zombie here, you can see it's blue. That was pretty nice. See, now it's green again. But the Cacodemons eye, which is green there, as soon as I do the murder kill on him, it becomes blue. See? So I'm thinking it's actually using the color off of my skin, because the Doom Marine is supposed to be that standard green color. So I can't really guess at how that's coded, but that's kind of interesting. Anyway, Wii U video, stupid. People, stop being insulted by it. I don't care if you're a fanboy. Just don't take it out on other people. You are allowed to enjoy one company more than the other. You are allowed to be a fanboy and obsess over something. But as soon as someone disagrees with your opinion, that doesn't make them wrong and you right. They just have a different opinion from you. And, SC Enigma, my subscriber of mine, who I've been talking with quite a lot recently in the comments, does a very good job of pointing this out. Whenever he posts something that might be even mildly inflammatory, he usually writes in parentheses, in my opinion at least, which is a very good thing because it makes people on the internet, people tend to come off as a little bit fatalistic because you can't understand their voice. You don't get that sort of varying quality. You can't hear how they're speaking. They could be angry, they could be sad, you don't know. But usually when someone states something on the internet, such as, well, 360 is better than PS3, usually you immediately get the sort of idea just from that blanket statement that they're a little bit of a fanboy, and they're generally going to be the type of person who will never ever listen to a thing you say. But if in parentheses you're right, at least in my opinion, you come to understand, oh, well, they're just having an opinion, like every other human being. Oh, that's pretty much normal. Okay, maybe I'll talk to them and see why they think that. I don't understand why more people can't do that. Alright, maturity level. Sorry. I'll move away from that topic before I start navigating myself in logic circles and finding lexical gaps like I usually do, because odd words. I don't know. Look, crap, I looked over at the page. As soon as I did, I got mauled by an imp that I didn't think existed. Asus update, that was the next one on the list. Okay. So, Asus. As anyone who knows me personally will know, I fucking hate them horribly recently. Because they are doing terrible, terrible things to me as a person. And generally abducting my motherboard and refusing to give it back. As it turns out, I called them recently, and by recently I mean constantly recently. I've been calling them non-stop ever since the original update videos. Where's the blue key? Where is the key of blue? I have absolutely no idea where I'm going right now. I'm gonna go wander. I remember playing this on the SNES version and finally realizing for the first time, oh well, gee, this is the same music that plays at the end of levels, that's pretty badass. And I believe it was either my brother or my uncle who just kind of looked at me like I was a complete idiot when I said that the first time. But, excuse me? Were you just shooting at me or the Kako demon? Okay. So they abducted my motherboard for, like, 4 months, which is why I'm resulting to this terrible, terrible computer with a bad processor. But I finally bugged the people enough that I actually started getting the same associate over and over in my conversations. And it finally got to a point where as soon as he heard me, he was like, oh, what's your RMA number? And I gave it to him and he was like, oh, you're that guy. Please wait while we transfer you to 3rd RMA support. And he put on like a David Hayter voice and everything. It was really cool. No, actually, he basically, he just sounded kind of irritated. He was like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to lift this to a 3rd RMA level support technician. And as soon as I did, the person was like, oh wow, you've been treated absolutely horribly, and we apologize for that. Please excuse me while I firmly remove the heads of my associates from their respective assholes. And also punch them in the face repeatedly. Because as soon as I contact